This is part 3 of ACC Module 2 SAM Project 1A, picking up on step 7. It instructs us to open the Michigan Customer's Query in Design View and add criteria to select only those records where state is equal to MI, the state abbreviation from Michigan. Save the changes. Open the query in Datasheet View, make sure there are 7 records, and then close the query, save it if you need to. So let's go open up Michigan Customers in Design View, and it says that we need to set up a criteria for state. So I'm going to scroll to where the state column is, and the criteria is that it equals MI. Now, we are going to save those changes and we're going to run it and see what happens. All of our states should have Michigan as the state listed, and there should be 7 records, and there is. So we will close this and save it if it prompts us. It did not. Step 8 says because customers of personal insurance reside in many different cities, it's often difficult to know the exact spelling of a city. So we're going to open up Customer City in Query in Design View and add criteria to select only those records where the city field value begins with the letters, and I don't know if that is AI or AL. Bear with me here for just a second. I'm going to change the typeface, and hopefully that'll give me some indication. I think it's AL. Okay. I'm assuming that's what it is. Okay. Now, we'll save those changes and we'll run it and confirm that we have 2. If we don't have 2, then we know we have to go back and change it. So, Customer City is the query that we want to open in Design View. And we want to make sure that we can see the Customer City, the city column, where we only want it to have criteria where city begins with the letters AI. I'm going to say AL, not in a caps there. And I'm just going to tab, and you'll notice that it put AL in a set of quotation marks. The city field in the customer's table was designated as short text, so by default it is putting that in there. However, I need a little something else in there because I said it was supposed to begin with. So after the L, I need to have an asterisk to say show me any other characters that follow the L, because certainly we'll have Allentown, like Allentown, Pennsylvania. So we're going to leave it like that and see what happens, and that's an asterisk after the L. And we're going to save it, and we're going to run it, and we have Alabaster and Allentown. And Alabaster happens to be in Alabama. So it's a good thing we chose AL and not AI. So we do have 2 records as it indicated we should have. We will close that and we will go on to step 9. And after 9 we'll save again this as the 4th part of our video series for this project. Many queries require data from more than one table, so you may want to add a query to display the customer last name rather than the customer ID for a renter's policy. So what we're going to do is create a query in Design View based on both the customers and renters tables with the following options. So I'm going to click on Create, and I need to create a query in Design View, And I'm supposed to add the customers table, so I'll just double click on it. And I'm supposed to add the renters table. And by the way, you can do a single click and do the add button down at the bottom. And then you can close this. Now you may see a line here. It may not be the correct line, but there is a line here, a join line between the two tables. And you'll notice that it's the customer ID, which is the primary key of customers, that's pointing also to customer ID in the related field, or excuse me, related table. And so customers is the primary table, renters is the related table. So let's take a look at what we need to do here. Add the customers table we did. Add the last name field from customers table to the design grid from the customers table. So double click on last name. Add the policy number from the renters table and premium. Scroll down till I can find premium from the renters table. So we have one field from customers and two from renters. Now it says that we want to, in step D, join the customers table and the renters table by drawing a line from the customer ID field in customers to the customer ID field in renters. And because these are identical, you may see that line already there. Well, I want to do it the correct way, so I'm going to click on customer ID and I'm going to hold it down and drag it over. Make sure your mouse pointer is pointing on customer ID in the renters. Don't point at policy number. Those two fields won't match. So you want to make sure you're matching customer ID that has a key in one table and pointing at customer ID in the other table. Now you could have this field in renters could be called something else. It could be called customer identity, and it still represents the same data. But I kind of like the idea that they use the same name for us. So I'm going to let go of the mouse button. Actually, I would like to remove this join line and then remove this join line so I can do it the way, just to show you what it looks like when you're doing it this way. So you have a line there that's already, and it was already there for you. Just want to let you know it's there, and there's little tiny arrows between the two. Now save the query using customer renter as the name. Okay. Now this query 1, so when we go up here to save it, it'll ask us to change the name, and we're going to call it, let me find it here again, customer hyphen renter. And we'll click on OK. And then it tells us to open the query in datasheet view. So I'm just going to run the query. Now let's see what we've got here. We have all 21 records, and I could widen the column here. I don't know if they want us to or not, so I'm not going to widen it. But you could widen the column just like you double click between A and B columns in Excel to widen the column A. Do the same thing here. I don't think Sam would count off if you actually went ahead and widened it so you could read policy number. I'll leave mine that way and we'll see what it does to me. So we've opened it and we're just going to save it if we need to, and we're going to close it. Now this is where we'll end for this part. So we will finish this video, part 3,